As you can tell, we've got some drywall holes to patch here, and I thought this would be a good time for me to do some comparison of some common drywall repair techniques. I'm Eddie Field with Field Guide to DIY. Let's dive in. So one technique might be to just take some mud and just start filling in from the sides and filling in the hole and working your way around. Much like a bee would work closing up his honeycomb. Wrong. Because what's going to happen is over time, this is just going to dry out, get cracked, and weaken. You got to have something to shore it up and support it. So don't do this unless you have a really small hole. Even still, you may want to just put some tape over that. And when you're applying compound, go across to fill in and scrape down. That's going to still draw in because of the moisture, but that's okay there. Now we have this fiber tape that guarantees that it will not rust, and this square is 6 inches by 6 inches. Let's see if it'll work for any of our holes here. I think that's it right there. We're gonna try this right there. So we're gonna peel off the backing, and hopefully there's enough sticky to stick on there. Apply a thin coat. This wasn't terribly sticky, so I'm letting the compound hold it to the wall as much as possible. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build it up level, because I can eyeball it and see that there are some hollow spots. And we'll let that dry and do a second coat. Next, we have the Bon Cart Drywall Repair Kit. It does wall cracks, wall potholes, peeling of wall, a sanding pad, wall mending agent, 2 tubes. Here's the wall mending agent, and it has an applicator, and we're supposed to squeeze this onto the hole. It comes with a little putty knife, and we're gonna squeeze it in there. Squeeze the paste onto the place to be repaired. Use a scraper to smooth the paste. After the paste is completely dry, sand it with sandpaper. Do you really see this happening? Now we're gonna trowel it on there. I think it's so loose that we're gonna need to do 2 coats, maybe 3. Let's let that set, and then we'll come back and fill it the rest of the way. Next, we're gonna use this wall patch, very similar to this other that we used. Comes with a little trowel, 180 grit. It comes with 6 patches. So, we're gonna use that up here. Got it started. Roughing up the texture. Under there, press firmly and really use that adhesive. It did not come with compound, so I'm using my drywall compound. And they say apply it to the center and work it out to the edges. I'm more impressed with this setup than the first over here. Now we're gonna let that one dry. Now another technique is just to cut a piece of drywall the same size as the hole. That's great and only works if you have something to screw into. And then what you're gonna do is tape around the edge with drywall tape. It's really risky because I have nothing back here to support it. I'm gonna take that chance just for demonstration purposes. This drywall screw with the drywall bit, this has a little clutch on there that doesn't let you go too far. Find the stud, it's right there on the edge. Now we'll put mud and then tape. Go out to the edges and get some tape on it. Now we're gonna press it in with the blade. Put a thin coat over it. Some folks call this a skim coat. And we're gonna let that dry and come back and hit it again. Now this technique you can do, what you wanna do is you get a scrap piece of drywall you can pick up from your local home improvement store, and you cut the piece bigger than the hole. Like I like to have like an 1 inch overlap all the way around. We're gonna cut it, but we're gonna cut only the paper on one side and break away the gypsum board. So we're gonna leave the paper overhanging all around the outside. I'll show you what I mean. That is our drywall, and this is our overhang. Like I said, we just want the paper on there as best as I can. And that's gonna be on the inside. Now we're gonna apply some mud and put that on there. We're gonna apply mud all the way around. Now you see how that sets in there. Oh man, I did that backwards. Don't do it this way. Do it with the white paper on the outside. Learn from my mistakes, would you? Please? My buddy Cody said, I'll come over there, I'll patch it up, no one will ever know. I said, nah, Cody, I'll get it. A year later. All right, let's let that dry. We'll come back tomorrow night and do more. Now, day 2, you can see the grid texture that's in the screen ones. We're gonna do a skim coat over that. I'm gonna do a touch up of this one that uses that squeeze stuff. It's still real mushy and pasty. I'm not a big fan of that, but we're gonna give it a try and we're gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, but we're gonna skim the rest of it. Now, in their defense, it is pretty hard. I would say this is mainly for folks who don't have drywall skills or have the need to have a big pan, big blade. If this is the extent of your wall damage, this might do you just fine. But again, I'm not impressed. This might be better if you have just a single hole or a nail pop that you need to fix. But like I said, we're gonna press on and we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. It comes with 2 tubes. We may use both tubes on this. This is really soupy. I'm just gonna keep pushing it around till it starts to set. Well, at least now the hole is filled. And this area is the area where we did that bandage, where I did the wrong. That's not bad. You can't see the mesh that's in there now. You can still see the paper that's in this other patch. We didn't get much behind that is what that's telling me. But you will recall this had a whole bunch of different holes here and it's starting to blend in together. This is our 3rd application of this product. Trowel it on there. Now I found that it dries in about 4 hours, but it doesn't cure for sanding purposes until about 24 hours. Now we're gonna apply a thick layer of mud to the whole area, and we're gonna feather it out, and they call this a skim coat. That's where the screen started to show through. So we wanna build that up for sure. Ideally, we want this applied and feathered out so there's little to no sanding necessary. This is a 12-inch blade with a 14-inch pan. Good enough. It's a garage, for crying out loud. So keeping in mind that this is a garage, and if it were a bedroom or a living room, I would give it a lot more time and attention. I'm pretty happy with the results. This is the area where we had that mesh patch, and you can't see any of the crosshatch at all in that. And here we have the area where I just balanced it in there. Over here is the area where I screwed it in the stud. Here's the area where I did the other mesh patch. Down here, you can still see a little remnant of the boo-boo of the squeeze stuff. And then I have the area where I did the just no paper, no tape, just spackle. So if you have a big area that you need to patch, see if you can cut your way to the stud from stud to stud. If you don't need to do that, you may just get away with the drywall flap technique I showed. Or if you have a small hole, like where you had a picture frame or a drywall anchor come out, you may just be content with the drywall repair kit. I hope this helps. For more helpful videos like this one, click the image on your screen now.